Today is day 55 of my 100 days of gratitude. Yesterday was a rough one. It was a very rough one. I was an absolute mess. And for total transparency, I didn't want to give the impression that that we were best friends. And I hope it didn't come across like that. When I hear of someone in our community, especially those that I've spent time with face to face, it knocks the shit out of me. And that's what happened yesterday. So it just, we have a local farm kind of near us, and we went over and visited, and it was just beautiful. And we have a ton of snow outside, and there's been rain on top of that, which means that it's just the fields are kind of glare ice, which is luckily there's not too much action out there, but it's just gorgeous when the sun hits it. And we're just out there, and the llamas were coming over, alpacas, and it was just beautiful that I got to experience that. And I kept thinking that she didn't, and how are her parents supposed to sleep? And it's tough. I think about a lot of things. I think about a lot of things. And so, in trying to kind of continue, but keeping her kind of alive in our hearts, I want to continue with gratitude. And it's tough to kind of come on here and I want to be my chipper self who I've always been, and yet my heart is broken and I'm scared. And so in thinking today of something that I'm grateful for, again, the other things that I'm grateful for don't go away. It's hard when you have a heavy heart to kind of, I don't want to ignore that. And I've said that from the beginning, that I want to be authentic, and I don't want to come on here and say, hey, I feel so great, because I genuinely don't feel like that right now. So this might seem strange, but I'm grateful that I was diagnosed stage 2 initially, and then had 4 years of remission and was stage 4. And I think back and wonder, could I have had another 4 years of that cancer having not been detected, and having been able to be the naive person that I was. But the advantage that I think I have is that in that initial diagnosis, I have been able to be part of a community. I know how to navigate a hospital. I know how to navigate the cancer world. I know what resources are out there. I have a network. So then by the time I was stage 4, I didn't have to worry about what does this mean, and what's a radio-oncologist, and how does this procedure look like, and I hate needles, and how am I going to convey that without seeming like a 5-year-old, and all of that stuff I kind of had a handle on, so that I could actually deal with the diagnosis. Because when you're just going along as a 20-something, and then surprise you have cancer, it's the last thing it's the last thing, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's the last thing typically on your mind that you think it's going to happen. And so with stage 2, I was able to just learn so much about cancer, about, like I said, resources, and who I had access to, and what was safe and what wasn't. And then so when I was, 4.5 years later, when it was surprise year stage 4, it was like, okay, I seem to have a handle on a diagnosis. Never dealt with a terminal diagnosis, and it's a whole, that's the difference, I think, is that it's a whole separate beast. So I had kind of dealt with stage 2 and kind of had a handle on the cancer world. And the more I learned about breast cancer, the more I realized that I knew nothing about other cancers. And it's interesting when people come to me and they say, whoever in my life and their life has been diagnosed with cancer, can you talk to them? And, any suggestions? And I'm like, well, I can talk to them, and I'm pretty knowledgeable about breast cancer, but if they have leukemia, Young Adult Cancer Canada, if they're, under 39, 40-ish, like I can make connections, but I don't know anything about leukemia. And I think I had that misconception too, that kind of cancer is cancer, and it's not. And I was recently watching something, and a scientist was talking, and he said, there's this assumption that like the miracle drug and this huge cure, and that, and I don't know, I can't remember my life before cancer, to be honest, but he said, like, there's not going to be one pill that I can take and somebody with leukemia can take and somebody with bladder cancer can take. Like, it doesn't work like that. They're all totally different diseases, even though they're all like the term cancer is kind of an umbrella term. So I thought, well, yeah, of course it's not going to be one cure, but maybe some people are kind of under that assumption. I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember it. I figured out as of this coming September, I will have lived more of my adult life as a cancer patient than not. Yeah, that was kind of sobering. Not that I don't even drink. I'm tired of being sober. But, like just kind of like, holy crap. Yeah, the majority of my adult life I've had cancer. That sucks. I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm not like depressed about it or anything. I'm depressed about other things, but it's just kind of like, holy crap. You can see the hot flash, little pinky. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off track. Just my point is, I never thought that I would be grateful to have had cancer twice. And here I am, happy, grateful, that I did learn how to navigate it previously, so I could really focus on myself in the diagnosis rather than, where's this doctor and who's this, and I've never met this person, and how do I do this, and how does this work, and who pays for that, and is this covered, and all of that was kind of still lots to learn with metastatic cancer, but just different, and I am grateful for that experience, that I had that exposure first. So today I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much for all the love and support and texts and tweets and messages. They got me through yesterday, because I wanted it to be over, and the love and support was just pouring yesterday, and I'm eternally grateful for everyone. Thank you very, very much. Talk to you tomorrow.